Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for today, Tuesday, April 17th, 2018. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Visitors to Nevis's capital, Charlestown, this morning may have noticed a brief ceremony taking place on Main Street in the vicinity of the bust of the island's first Premier, Dr. Simeon Daniel. Deputy Premier, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, made the introductions.
With me this morning is Mr. Martin Cambis, who is the creator or the person who is responsible for the final product of this bus. Those of us who are old enough and who have been around long enough would know the exploits of Dr. Daniel, and in terms of what he has meant to the island of Nevis. The people of Nevis, Mr. Cambis, is appreciative or are appreciative of your work, and when persons embark or disembark the local ferries or drive to Charlestown, we are seeing some school children around who are curious as to why we're here, I'm sure, but as they travel back and forth and see this bus or this sculpture, they would know exactly what it represents, and it was all because of your work, which was done not at the expense of Nevisians in any way, but we're certainly appreciative as well for the work that you have done, because you did it, I'm sure, not knowing what the impact might have been. But I can say to you the impact has been a tremendous one, and we want to thank you for your work and your association with this particular masterpiece.
Paul Martin Cambias said it was a great honor to sculpt the bust.
I think it was his family who sent me a package of photographs that I had in my studio for several weeks and months. So, as a sculptor, as an artist, I spent almost half a year with Sir Simeon Daniel, without knowing him personally, but with his face and from different angles, and to find the right expression. I love to work on this art piece, and to find my special, my special relationship to Simeon Daniel. And thank you again to give me this opportunity to contribute to your country.
Minister Jeffers also expressed appreciation on behalf of Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley, who was instrumental in spearheading the project. The participants of the 2018 Tourism Youth Congress were announced this morning during a launch at the Montpelier Plantation Inn. Here is more in this report.
The Ministry of Tourism's Bank of Nevis sponsored Tourism Youth Congress will take place on Thursday, 17th May 2018. Earlier today, a launch was hosted at the Montpelier Plantation Inn, where Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, John Hanley, encouraged the participants to do their best.
And you're going to be engaged in a very exciting competition. And on the 17th of May, we will have the local leg of the Tourism Youth Congress at NEPAC. And one school is going to emerge winner. Which school is going to be, I do not know. It is up to you. In your preparations, you have to determine whether or not you want your school to be the winner. So I wish all of you the best. The Tourism Youth Congress is an opportunity for you to learn public speaking skills. It is an opportunity for you to learn to network with persons of your age group, and it also helps you to learn about what can be considered to be the most important industry on your island, the tourism industry. So I want you to give it your best shot.
3 secondary schools on the island will take part in the Tourism Youth Congress. The Charlestown Secondary School, represented by Mikel Meloni, Ricardo Rodriguez, and Kimberly Samaru. Gingerland Secondary School, represented by Cheyenne Tyson, Katara Huggins, and Juma Liburd, and the Nevis International Secondary School, represented by Elise Thomas, Jessie Wiley, and Tarana Anadkat. The topics for the Congress are 1. Virtual reality and tourism enticing a new generation of explorers. 2. Developing smart and sustainable Caribbean countries, building back better. 3. Year of Wellness and Rejuvenation, enhancing the Caribbean's tourism product offering. A representative of title sponsor, the Bank of Nevis Limited, in the person of Marketing Officer Fayon Jones, delivered brief remarks.
Over the years, we have seen and heard great ideas from our students. They have offered innovative ways which can be adapted to improve upon our tourism package. I am most certain that this year we will uphold the same standards that have been established over the years. It is at this point in time I want to encourage the students to continue to think of ways to improve the quality of life for all living within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis through tourism.
Also present at the launch was the current Youth Junior Minister of Tourism from the Gingerland Secondary School, Devon Cornelius, event coordinator Dawson Otley, as well as teachers and other members of staff of the Ministry of Tourism. The Tourism Youth Congress is part of the activities for Exposition Nevis, which began on Sunday, 15th April with a church service. The Bank of Nevis-sponsored Tourism Youth Congress will take place on Thursday, 17th May 2018 at the Nevis Performing Arts Center. I'm Fredicia Larwood reporting for the Nevis Newscast.
Thanks, Fredicia. In more local news,
there's so much there that I learned for the very, very first time. And I mean, there's so much about our history that we really don't know. And I think he has started a good thing, especially for our young people. And I think you really need to find some way of reaching out to our young people, and in particular to the schools, to get this kind of information to them. Because really and truly, these are things that people should know, and this information that is sadly lacking.
Minister of Culture, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, has congratulated historian Leonard Stapleton, originally of Brooklyn, for finding an innovative way of educating the Federation's young people about their cultural and historical heritage. Stapleton's presentation, titled Rooted in History, uses the Federation's history to highlight and foster an appreciation for its traditional values system.
Our young people today are far more talented, they have far more access to education, technology, and they have a lot of opportunities. But in terms of what they are achieving with all of this, it pales in comparison to what was achieved by our grandparents with the little education, the little technology. What they had was sound and powerful values. The first part is actually to build the value of patriotism. But one cannot be truly patriotic if they don't know anything about the country and they don't know what makes the country great. And so the beginning part of Rooted in History actually starts the history from when the islands were inceptual, when they started to be formed as islands. Because you're living on an island all your life and you do not know how old the island is, that basic fact. And it takes us up to the early settlers, right up to independence. So throughout that, we spot a couple of great things.
The presentation is divided into 4 parts.
Then the other part has to do with some sites on St. Kitts and Nevis, where some of the values that was passed on to us were demonstrated based on events that took place there involving our ancestors. So everything is local. We are not taking anything foreign to bring here. We're using actual events that took place here with our own ancestors, and so that is meaningful. And then you want to actually let them know, because they are descendants of these great Africans, that alone tells them that they are very strong, and nothing in this world and nobody in this world could surpass them once they have this knowledge and they use it with the same values that should be presented here. And then it ends with examples. The last part deals with examples of people who would have recognized their strength and combine the strength and the values to have achieved great things, not just on St. Kitts and Nevis, but throughout the entire planet. And so once they can see people who they can meet every day, who have done this thing, it sort of brings it home to them.
Historian Leonard Stapleton made his presentation rooted in history at the St. Paul's Anglican Church on Monday evening, April 16th. Still to come.
We are heartened and we are encouraged of what we are seeing at the Cicely Brown Integrated School, and we want to say thank you to Mrs. Clark and her staff.
The details after this break.
I cannot miss this festival this year. I gotta be there. Gotta be there. Gotta be there.
Welcome back. While students and teachers on Nevis returned to school on Monday, 16th April after a 2-week Easter vacation, the students of the Cicely Brown Integrated School were welcomed by Junior Minister of Education, the Honorable Troy Liburd, and his permanent secretary, Kevin Barrett.
We are very much impressed with what is happening here at the Cicely Brown Integrated School, especially in terms of the gardening and the effort that the staff is making in getting the children interested in agriculture, interested in their schoolwork. We also saw a child who was visually impaired, but he was becoming more proficient on the computer, the keyboard. I think that was very impressive. We are heartened and we are encouraged of what we are seeing at the Cicely Brown Integrated School, and we want to say thank you to Mrs. Clark and her staff, and we wish them all the best.
The permanent secretary congratulated the supervisor and teachers for allowing the children to learn at their own pace, which he says will better equip them to handle living in today's society.
I am also very encouraged that what we are seeing here is something good for our children, especially those who are challenged in various aspects in their lives. And this school has been afforded them the opportunity to grow and develop at their own pace and to become better able to apply themselves in various aspects of our society, and we are wishing the school all the best for the new school term and in fact for its existence. We want to see the best for our children, and we are encouraged that we have a good staff here working, headed by Mrs. Clark.
Permanent Secretary Barrett also noted that the visits will continue around the island to the various schools.
This is, as I said, something that the minister, the junior minister, Honorable Troy Liburd, is very interested in doing. He wants to see firsthand what is happening in our various teaching and learning institutions. So he has put on his agenda to continue the visits and to continue to experience what is actually happening at the schools and to hear directly from the staff and the students and see how best we could help the learning and teaching institutions in our community to be much better suited for teaching and learning, teaching for the staff and learning for the children.
Today, Tuesday, April 17th, Minister Liburd and Permanent Secretary Barrett visited the Nevis Sixth Form College, where they held meetings with the director of the tertiary level institution, Pamela Pemberton. And finally, the 4th Town Hall meeting, facilitated by the St. Kitts and Nevis National Marijuana Commission, will take place on Thursday, April 19th at the Butlers Community Center. The St. Kitts and Nevis National Marijuana Commission is hosting a series of town hall meetings throughout the Federation to engage the public and share the facts and latest evidence regarding the medical, social, and economic implications of marijuana use and ascertain people's positions on these complex issues. Persons living in the Butlers community are invited to bring along relatives and friends, be informed about the issues related to the use of marijuana, and share their views. All are invited to participate in this national debate. Thursday's town hall meeting at the Butlers Community Center will commence at 7 p.m. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.